Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tiny-tastic Talks. Are you having a good day? I'm having a good day. It's just one of those days. I wanted to talk to you about empowering yourself even when you're in the midst of dealing with your health conditions, your situations that you're currently living through, etc. And as I've mentioned before previously on this channel, this last year has made me lose confidence that I had before I got struck with all this. And I didn't really know that I had lost any of that confidence until I was confronted with certain situations that I'd be used to, and then all of a sudden be like, okay, how do I act? I was just totally at a loss. And so that was just really, really weird for me to process and then get discouraged about and all this stuff. And that's not where I want to stay, right? And so for a while, I felt like the health issues that I had and still do have were robbing me of different things. And I'm sure that many of you can relate to that feeling, whatever it is that you're going through. But lately, I've been gaining my confidence back by deciding to not back down, by still fighting to move forward with the things in my life, even though, I don't know the future. We don't know the future. But just still deciding to move ahead with things. Putting myself back into situations over these last few months actually, has been able to help me evaluate like who I was a year ago, understanding that I've evolved and that I have to self-adjust in terms of who I am now. I wanted to share a story about something recently that happened at a trip to the mall with my dad. So we decided to just walk around the mall because we were filling out a prescription for me. And so I'm thankful that my dad is, good with spontaneity, because that's we went shopping for something that I'd been thinking about for a long time but hadn't really told anybody about. And I wanted it to be something that would commemorate this fall season. It'll be a year next week that FND reared its head. I looked today at the Time Hop app that I have on my phone and realized that it was actually today that I started developing some symptoms, but I just didn't know what was happening. But anyways, this purchase was about knowing all of that and what had happened last year, understanding how it's affected my life, how it still affects my life, but choosing to just blaze ahead and start living my life again, because I'm just tired of waiting to get my life to like 85, 90%, 92%, whatever, until I start things again, So anyways, we're at the mall. We start going to different stores, looking at things, and I'm not really finding what I want. But I was just like, well, if I find something, I find something. If I don't, I don't. We walk into this one store. We asked to see what they have. What they did have was absolutely gorgeous and beautiful and totally out of my price range. So I was like, well, this is lovely. Kind of just like a pipe dream, whatever, like, okay, I can't do this, can't make this happen. So I mentioned to the salesperson, well, we all pretty much mentioned to the salesperson, I'll think about it. And so then I think she kind of wrote me off as like, okay, she's not interested, or like she's not serious or whatever. So we walk away, we go to a different store. The quality is just not the same. And so I go home and I'm still thinking about it. My parents and I have a discussion and they're just like, listen, just, call the store and just hold to what it is that you want. And And I'm like, oh man, I'm so nervous. Like, these types of situations before would not really get me nervous. Now they do. So that's fun. But I was like, okay, like I have to rehearse this in my mind before I actually call. And I had like a script, no joke, about how I was going to address this. And in that moment, I had to recognize that I was the one that had the control and had the power. I was the one that wanted to purchase the item. I was the one with the money. So if the salesperson wasn't wanting to make an arrangement or whatever, then that was their call, right? I walk away fine, right? So I call, and I was just holding to my budget, and she was just not willing to budge. And so I said, okay, fine, I guess I will just have to wait for something else. And at the last second, she's like, okay, fine. Like, she gave me the price I was wanting that I didn't even tell her I was wanting. And I was like, okay, sold. So then I go back to the store and we get everything settled. And I walked away looking at my bill, and I realized that the name of the salesperson is the name of the store. So I'm like, oh my goodness, like, no way. I just made a deal and bartered with the owner of the store. Like, how crazy, like for me, I was like, how crazy is that, right? And I was just really proud of myself because I was like, look at what in the world I just did. This is fantastic. So after all that happened, for the next week, I just felt like really good about myself and this accomplishment. This purchase was solidifying for me the hope of the future and this whole fall season. Regardless of what I may face, I will not back down. And even if I do have setbacks and relapses and symptoms, I will pick myself back up and I will keep just pushing ahead, because I feel that that's just what I need to do right now in order to feel like I have a purpose, and even in the midst of all the challenges, right? Because I still do have daily challenges. And I'm just looking forward to developing that perseverance and the endurance that I need to keep running this race that we call life. And so I just hope all of this for you too. You know, I hope that you are able to find things that can empower you in your journey towards health, towards healing, towards just life, and that you can become comfortable with yourself even though things are tough and awful sometimes. And I understand that. But you can do things for yourself maybe that you never even thought possible. Like, I didn't think it was possible for me to go barter something at a store and like be successful at it. And with the symptoms that I have and all that stuff and the anxiety that I feel. So if you do end up doing something that's empowering, or you have stories yourself of doing things for yourself that has empowered you and helped you move forward with things, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know what's worked for you and for us to be able to help each other. And yeah, so subscribe if you haven't yet. I put out weekly content. If you haven't seen any videos of mine, then I will put a few around. And yeah, I will see you next week. See you later.